Yo, what is up, guys? So, the Washington football team just maybe over, I want to say 45 minutes to an hour ago, have signed left tackle Charles Leno. He was a free agent. He was released by the Chicago Bears, and the Washington football team, Ron Rivera, brought him in for a visit this past Monday. So, I guess when Ron Rivera does that, and I'll discuss what this means for Bobby McCain as well. I'll also discuss why I think this is a good or bad move. I'm kind of 50-50 on it, but I'll talk more about that. But I think that, when Ron Rivera says that you're going to, bring in a guy for a visit, especially with what happened last year, especially with what happened, what's going on this year when he brought in, Dontrell Inman last year. He signed him. He brought in Adam Humphries this year for a visit. He signed him. So Charles Leno gets the nod, and he will be signed to a one year $5 million deal, according to reports from Adam Schefter, an ESPN analyst there. Me personally, look, you can't have much. You can't have enough depth. I think my thing is this is just, there's a side of me where I say that you can't have enough depth, but also you're doing it overkill. You had Cornelius Lucas, you had Wes Schweitzer, Sadiq Charles, who else? You have Brandon Sheriff. Center, Chase Roulier and all those, Morgan Moses. You even re-signed David Sharp. But, I guess, last year, the Washington football team, surprisingly, their offensive line played really well under the circumstances. But, you go ahead, you bring in a Samuel Cosme, you draft him in the second round. You bring in, Charles Leno. It's just too much. You got to ask yourself, what, are you going to do with this offensive line? Who makes the squad, who doesn't? And so this is going to be, it's good to see, competition. And Ron Rivera loves competition. So we'll have to wait and see, who makes the roster. I think Jerron Christian is still on the roster as well. I don't think he'll make it, but it just interests me that Charles Leno gets signed with Washington when really the offensive line is good in my opinion, most likely in other Washington football team opinions as well. So, and you're willing to give him a 1 year $5 million deal, not a 4. I would have expected maybe a 3 or a 4 million. So this is probably meaning that the left tackles that Washington have, aside from Samuel Cosme, isn't probably going to make the roster. And also what they're probably going to be thinking of is, beefing up that offensive line, because some of these guys on the offensive line are flex guys. they don't just play left tackles. You can put them at left guard. You can put some at right guard. Sadiq Charles, he was drafted as a left tackle in the 4th round last year, but, he played better at left guard before he got hurt. You bring in, you trade for Eric Flowers. So it just interests me that, Washington are, continuing to move and add guys to their offensive line, which means these guys are either going to be released, some of these guys are just here for camp bodies, or Ron Rivera's thinking of using these guys as a trade package. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. Like I said, it's going to be an interesting offseason for Washington moving forward. What does this mean for Bobby McCain, another guy that Washington brought in for a visit this past Monday? I know they didn't report this. It's just that I don't like to get ahead of myself. I like to see until things are official. But Bobby McCain, now this is a guy that I think Washington would have benefited from signing instead of bringing him in for a visit and then signing him right away. Because Washington, yes, they drafted Derek Forrest But aside from that, I don't think your free safety group is meh. You have Jeremy Reeves, you have Troy Apke, who's absolute garbage in my opinion. Maybe you can move Cameron Curl as a free safety. Who knows? So I think bringing in Bobby McCain maybe would have been a huge boost to free safety position, or a safety position rather. Even though Bobby McCain, he plays better at corner. He's better at a slot corner than he is free safety. But with probably proper coaching, maybe even some more better coaching, because Brandon Flores is a defensive minded guy. And it was budget cuts that Bobby McCain was released. It was budget cuts that got Charles Leno released. And Charles Leno was a 2014 7th round draft choice. He's played very well the last few years. So it's interesting to see what Charles Leno will do. It's interesting to see if Washington will actually go ahead and sign Bobby McCain. I didn't see, because the visits were Monday, so I was surprised that I didn't see them getting signed Monday or yesterday. I would have assumed so, but I think they just want to take time to look it over, and who knows, maybe Bobby McCain gets signed here in the next coming hours. Maybe he gets signed tomorrow, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. But I think if you sign Bobby McCain, it'll be more of an impact signing than Charles Leno, because like I said, the offensive line is good, the way it is, but you can't have enough depth, is what my good side would say. Because like I said, Washington, the bad thing about Washington is that their offensive line has been banged up the last 3 or 4 years. We have not had a healthy offensive line in recent years. So because there's always nagging injuries and all that. So I think that this isn't a bad signing. It's just that it's just overkill, and it's going to be overcrowded, and you're going to have hard decisions to make on who to cut and who stays when it comes to that time. So that's my initial reaction, guys. I apologize that I jumped the gun, but I'd like to remind you all that if you're new to my channel, that'll be it for this video. I'd like to remind you all to subscribe to my channel if you like Washington or NFL content. More content coming tonight, discussing the schedule release. I'll do a video for that. If you like European soccer content, Real Madrid content, this is also a channel for you. Hit that subscribe button. I'm in the process of uploading my Real Madrid preview analysis for tomorrow's game, and of course I'm going to be talking about La Liga later tonight as well. So also share this video with your friends and family. Comment, 'cause I'd like to know your thoughts regarding this matter about Washington adding Charles Leno and maybe signing Bobby McCain to a long-term deal, or not to a long-term deal, but signing Bobby McCain potentially, who was brought into a visit as well on Monday. So let me know your comments. Until then, guys, keep it real. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.